Hello, everybody. Welcome to Techmate. My name is Sebastian, and this is our very first episode of this podcast. I'm so excited to be here. I've been trying to bring this idea to life for quite a while now, so let me tell you a little bit about what you can expect going forward, how I might be able to help you, what you might be able to find here, and everything that you're going to listen to. So this is really about a community. I feel personally in my life that I have a lack of community in the kind of IT technical professional environment, whether that's IT hobbyists who like to do things at home, self-hosting things or tinkering around with Raspberry Pis, or professionally where I don't have a lot of people outside of work colleagues, and I have quite a small team, granted, so just not a lot of people to kind of talk to and kind of complain about things or talk to about similar issues that they're having. So I find personally on the internet, there's either this large subset of people looking at the kind of cutting edge technology about AI or quantum computing, and those are very interesting conversations to have that are valuable. And there's the other side of it where it's super in-depth technical tutorials, and I want to be that kind of middleman. Don't want to be a tech bro, but I'm hoping to fill the gap and be your tech brother. Whether you're new to computer science, software development, networking, whatever it might be, I have been in the IT industry for about a decade. I've done so many different jobs. I started as a software developer at a private company. I went to school for computer science, and now I've been working in federal government jobs for a while. I've done more hardware things. I've done more cloud administration. I've been so lucky to touch so many different aspects of IT. And when I first started out, I had no idea what I was getting into. Initially I wanted to be a game developer and go down that route, so I went to school for computer science, but there's so much more, and I feel like people don't know what they might be getting into. So it's, yeah, again, either cutting edge tutorials, cutting edge technology, or in-depth tutorials, and there's not a lot of that in between space. So I want to fill that gap with my own experience, or potentially interviewing professionals in the industry, or just having that community with everyone who might be listening and sharing my ideas and what I'm going through, because I feel like there's a bit of a gap there. So I want to break down those barriers. Another thing I'm going to try to do is not assume knowledge. I feel like people who are in the industry working on it get so in it that they forget that maybe all of their tech speak doesn't translate to somebody, or if they're new or have a different background, you might not be able to have an effective conversation with them. So to make sure that everyone's on the same page, I'm going to try not to use acronyms. I'm going to try not to assume knowledge on your part without like patronizing you. So I'm hoping to be able to do that in a good balanced way. Yeah. So again, I've been working in technology for about a decade. I've touched so many different jobs. I'm definitely a jack of all trades, a master of none. And I'm not gonna tell you or presume to know everything, but I am confident that I can figure most things out given enough time and maybe with enough help. So I'm going to do my best to bring that knowledge to you and just kind of hopefully broaden your horizon. Maybe we'll do a podcast about QA, which is quality assurance. Maybe we'll do one about software development. Maybe we'll do one about IT networking. Or maybe we'll do general IT hobbyist things like setting up your own home lab or whatever. So there's going to be something here for everybody eventually, and I'm really looking forward to being able to foster community in the comments or maybe with the Discord server or whatnot. Like, when I started out, I can't tell you how long it took me to actually realize what a server was. And it sounds funny, but I went to school for computer science, which was all programming and math. And you hear the term server a lot, even just if you're a gamer, you might hear it a lot, like, oh, the servers are down, whatever. But sometimes you don't think to ask yourself, like, what is a server actually? What does that even mean? And then you do get the opportunity to do it or touch it, and you're like, oh, it's just a computer. It's a different kind of computer, and it hosts services, and then you think, what is a service? And then it's like you go down this rabbit hole of all the different facets of what IT is, and you might only touch one thing. Like if you're a software developer working on an API, you need to know how that API interacts with all the different services that your software application might interact with. So there's a lot to know. I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but I really want to have a space where we can have that conversation and just have it honestly and openly and not make anybody feel bad for not knowing what's going on, and also provide a bit of a space for people to maybe be able to touch different areas of IT that they might not have the ability to otherwise in their job or at school or whatever that is. Or even if you're just thinking about getting into tech, I hope that this can be a good space to enlighten you a little bit about what your day-to-day might actually look like, because again, I feel like you just have no idea when you're starting. So I'm going to do my best here. First of all, I want to answer the question and talk a little bit about, is it too late to get into tech? Because I hear this all the time. There's layoffs at Meta and at Google and at Oracle. There's layoffs across the industry with the advent of AI, artificial intelligence. And everyone's thinking it's too late. I want to be a software developer. I want to make advancements in computing. And I just think that that ship has sailed. But I have to tell you, it is not. It is absolutely not too late to get into technology. There are so many different aspects of it that people who maybe don't work in the industry don't understand or realize that are there. But all of these super data centers that are going to be built are going to need someone to do the hardware architecture, are going to need someone to do some of the networking, are going to need someone to do the cloud administration and the IT security and everything that goes with it. So AI is not going to take everybody's jobs. Of course, it will be super helpful, and there will be some jobs that are made redundant or a little bit less required to have humans be there. But of course, there's always going to need to be human supervision. I mean, every single time there's been a major human evolution in terms of technology, people have freaked out. You think about the invention of the loom or the invention of cars, like everybody freaked out. And I'm not saying there's no reason to be concerned. Of course, there's reason to be concerned. There's the environmental aspects. There's oversight aspects, which are a little bit lacking right now, in my opinion. But of course, it's not too late to get into tech. There's going to be an infinite amount of work that needs to be done and is required to get this to the next level. And it is a constant, always work in progress. It will never be perfected. There's going to be problems that need to be solved that will require humans. Of course, that comes with lots of caveats. Hopefully AI will be able to self-improve, but humans will need to be involved. So it's something that I hear a lot. In fact, I was at my local hardware store not too long ago, and I was wearing my university jacket with the university and the program I was in. And I had a student who went to that university come up to me, and they were like, "Oh my God, you like have a job?" We talked for a little bit, and it kind of came out what I did, and my year was on my jacket, so he knew that I wasn't there anymore. And he was like, "I just feel like there's not a lot of internships right now. There's not a lot of work. I feel like I shouldn't have got into this profession." And we got talking about like a little bit about what the possibilities are, because they are endless. Not to say that it's not a tough job market right now. It is, and it can be. You might need to reskill or go down a little bit of a different avenue. But a side note, some of the best software developers I've ever met did not have any formal education. So don't worry about that more than you need to. Of course, it can open some doors and it can be a good way to explore, but it's not the end all be all. Regardless, it really depends what programmer or where you go to school or how you learn, because computer science is very different from networking or desktop support or security or whatever it is. it is just the streams you can go down are endless. So don't think that it's too late. There are always going to be opportunities to get in if you're passionate about it. I mean, I mentioned I really wanted to be a video game developer or designer more specifically. And unfortunately, a lot of those jobs are kind of being replaced with AI. But the cream of the crop best studios know that they need to have the human element to it and couple that with AI as a tool in the toolbox, not a kind of shortcut to getting things done. So, lots to be said here, but I just want everyone to know who's thinking about getting into tech or who maybe already is and is losing a little bit of faith. I'm not saying it's always going to be easy or that there's a perfect path here, but there is always going to need to be somebody sailing the ship or kind of patching it together as we sail, which is, again, what I think we're lacking in the internet sphere is that there's all these everyday IT professional heroes that are keeping the world going, but they're not quite doing the cutting edge stuff that everybody wants to talk about, and it's not super exciting like when you're doing a in-depth server configuration or software development tutorial about how to do something. There's so many of us who are keeping the world turning, whether it's like help desk workers who friggin' get everyone else in the world going, or if it's somebody else. So lots to be said here. I think that this can be a really interesting conversation. I'm really looking forward to coming here every week and giving people ideas or hopefully responding to people or talking to different people about different areas that they work in and getting their perspective and introducing you to it, because again, I've been so lucky in my career so far to be able to touch so many different things and kind of figure out what I really like to do. And I feel like there's lots of companies or teams that you can work in where you get siloed editing the same file or doing the same password resets or whatever it is. So if you are interested in IT and want more of a discussion, want to be involved in a community that is interested in everything broadly and can have a conversation about it that's constructive, this is going to be the place for that. I'm really looking forward to talking to people. Please leave comments, like, share, message me, do whatever you need to do. And I'm going to be back here every week, every Monday, bringing you something interesting that hopefully will add a little bit of value. So I'm not going to try to take up too much of your time, but to kind of close out this episode, it's not too late to get into tech. You just might need to know a little bit more about the subset of the industry that you want to get into. Hopefully I've given you a little bit of insight into myself. Again, I've had jobs in the federal government, in the private sector. I have had formal education. I run my own technology business called Techmate, and I want to bring that into the broader spectrum. And I really want to be a tech brother, not a tech bro, gatekeeping anything. I want this to be very open, honest, and hopefully add some value to your life. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate your time. I hope you come back next week or check out the page for anything else that might be up right now. But please engage. Let me know what you think, what you want to hear about. If you think this might be interesting to you, let me know. And I'll see you again soon. Cheers.